It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our daily gun show. We come to you live every day at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific for about an hour each day. We'll do 3 gun-related topics, different topics throughout the week. We run it live on YouTube. We simulcast it over at gunchannels.com, where we're watching the live comments that are coming in, as well as over on the YouTube. We'll take the best of and post it as a podcast over on iTunes. And we appreciate everybody who takes the time to leave us some feedback, comment on the videos, subscribe to our channels on the various platforms. It allows us, well, it tells us where you're at and lets us know who's out there, but it also hopefully will recommend our videos to more viewers, and that's one of our goals. So we do appreciate that. We've got hosts. We've got Bob jumping in from Canada. Thanks for joining.
Hey, glad to be here.
We got Jimmy running the show up in Phoenix. Thanks for joining.
Hey, thanks. Good to be here.
I'm down here in Tucson, and I saw Smeggy farting around out there, but I don't know if he's working or what. So I think Dana was out there earlier too, so maybe we'll see some other hosts jump in, or maybe not. So today is, where'd it go, episode 452. It's a Tuesday, so we talk about the Second Amendment on Tuesdays. Pretty bland topic today, abortion versus gun control. And then we'll talk about background checks, whether or not that's bogus, and then the state of Pennsylvania. We have other stuff we talk about on a daily basis. We need to talk about anything else first? Like this.
I'm good. Oh, yeah.
Last night? Or yesterday? So everybody's farting around, looking around, what's the best deal, what's the best internet bargain, you know, what websites are working good or whatever, and what, you know, $30 you can save here or there. And in the meantime, the Supreme Court decided not to address either of the 2 Second Amendment cases that are, I wouldn't say pivotal, but are pivotal. So one of them was from Florida and had to do with open carry, and whether or not they've already told us that we can have the right to own a firearm in our home, but they did not make it clear with Heller whether or not the Second Amendment means you can carry. They have said it's okay to put a license to conceal carry. So the question is, does that mean you have a natural right to open carry? And then the concealment part is the permitted, like, additional responsibility or right or privilege? Or is the carrying, or is the possessing and carrying of the gun the privilege that you're getting permitted on? So I'm not a lawyer, but it has to do with some, you know, where the rights are and where the permission lies. And so that was a pretty important one. They decided not to listen to it, which means the case goes as is. The ruling of the circuit court stands, and it can't be reappealed. So that case is gone. Sounds like somebody in Florida who was arrested and has 60 days in jail pending is now going to have to face those 60 days in jail. How did Sean describe it? The guy went into a place, went up to grab something. His shirt came up over his firearm. He walked out of the building and was arrested for open carrying.
It was even visible.
Yeah, 60 days in jail. He has to go spend 60 days in jail now based on the court not taking that appeal. So the other one was the Maryland assault weapons ban, and whether or not it's okay for a state to impose an infringement like that. And again, by not addressing it, the circuit court ruling stands. So from what Sean was saying from Florida Carry last night, it'll take, you know, took 6 years to get these cases to the Supreme Court. So we're looking at potentially many years. There's none others in the pipe, according to what I'm aware of. So we're looking at new cases having to be started and then have to work their way up through all the various levels, up through the circuit courts and then up to the Supreme Court. So I guess some people are going to suggest that strategy-wise, you don't fight when it's not easy to win or it's not a sure thing. But I guess I'm not a scholar or whatever, so you can't win if you don't ever fight.
I feel like that's the time to fight. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess if there's something to lose, I could be educated. Maybe there's something to lose, so you don't fight if you're going to lose. They decide the other way, but inactivity doesn't seem like it's, it's working. We did a lot of this inactivity, and then we get status quo, and then everybody gets apathetic, and we don't do anything.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was, I guess, something that happened overnight. That Sean from Florida Carry was in the chats last night and was letting us know about. So not great news. But all kinds of cyber deals or whatever, so to save money. I do want to thank everybody that's shopped over on the Gear website store. We did get some money come in, so I do appreciate that. Let's see, so we can go on to the show, I guess, unless you guys had something else from overnight.
I got nothing.
I'm pretty sure Bob, when the show's over, he'll just sit there in that chair, staring at the wall. He'll drink a beer or two, but basically just sits there till the show starts again. Nothing happens.
Pretty much. Yeah.
All right. So Second Amendment, abortion versus gun control debates. Let's solve this one real quick.
Yeah. We need that drama sound. Dun, dun, dun. But yeah, that abortion versus gun control, I don't know, man. That's I've said my opinion on this before, and I feel like it's baiting. It's an anti or somebody baiting somebody that's pro. They bring up the abortion, and then it's over with from there. We're insensitive, all this, all that. We don't care about the lives of babies. And then you say, well, what about abortion? And they just shut down.
Like, how dare you?
And that's exactly how it happens. They give you that wide-eyed side look and walk away. Conversation done.
Yeah, you might as well have said like something about the climate.
Yeah, the Earth isn't flat. Oh, that's it. I'm done.
For being people of no faith, they have a lot of religious devotion to some positions.
Yeah. But yeah, bringing up abortion during a gun debate, though, I feel is almost useless, if not hurt our side in the argument anyway. My thoughts.
Oh yeah, well they've definitely, I say the people that are talking gun control, they have effectively created a situation or a condition or a state where you can't bring it up. It's not germane to the conversation.
Yeah, it's much the same if you bring it up to feminists.
I don't know about feminists or not, but like Jimmy says, when they're going to suggest that the existence of firearms was responsible for the death of children, and it seems like we're talking the same, we're a lot closer to the same ballpark than just, I don't know, other situations or the debate comes up, I guess.
Yeah, some people could bring up the argument abortion was designed to kill children. Like that's what it is. So I mean that's my thing though, is that if you take a strong stance on that and get to, I don't know, I don't like to have debates if I'm not necessarily debating somebody, but just giving my viewpoint. That comes up, it's just it gets emotional, and that's not something that I think should be in a logical debate. Or if you're trying to get your point across to somebody, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know what we were going to accomplish here, but at least we brought it up. So I guess we can move along. Feels like we solved it.
Huh?
Yeah, I'd say.
All right, so then we'll head on to the bogus news about the background checks here. But before we do, we usually take a break between the first and second segment of the show each day to feature one of the members over at Gun Channels. And off and on, we'll feature one of the people we support over on Patreon. And one of the people we support over there is Hank Strange. So he's a YouTuber and now big Patreoner, I guess you'd say. Let's see. Looks like he's got 100 patrons giving him $400. That's pretty cool. Got a couple of different perks over here. $1 one. He has them organized by types of guns. So he's got shotgun supporters, rifles, and machine guns. Pretty cool. I was on a show once. I think Matt was on a show. Sounds like Yankee's going to be on. He does a daily show. So he started doing his show, I forget how many episodes ago, not too long ago. But he's been doing it consistently on a daily basis, which we all know is pretty big commitment. And he's taken it to the next level. He's definitely got a lot of production value and does a lot of work with getting it out there on the medias and whatnot, on the different platforms, and doing a lot of work. He's basically got a new guest every single day. So it's a heck of a lot of work to do behind the scenes and to keep it going, and hopefully it's working out for him. So we're trying to get him over on gun channels. I met him once at a SHOT Show. I don't know what else to say. Seems like a nice guy. You know, he's Edge has a real problem with him.
Yeah, I've never met him, but he seems like a nice enough guy. Although, yeah, he won't agree to a drag race between our motorhomes, but
Never met him, but have watched the show a couple of times. Pretty interesting.
People saying he can't run a chat with more than 2 people at a time. I don't know about that. I mean, does he only have 1 person on every time?
well, maybe we'll see him at SHOT Show and we can convince him that he belongs on gun channels.
I've had emails back and forth with him. He claims that he's going to. He's gonna. Yeah, so keep bugging him. Let him know he's welcome. All right, so that'll take us into this thing about the record, the background checks. So we'll just do a slideshow here.
This morning, Dead Horse tagged me on this Instagram post, so I thought I'd do a quick video to address it. I believe it's fake news, and it seems like every year people like to hold up these bogus numbers as if they mean what the agenda-based media is trying to suggest they mean, that the firearms industry is thriving. So we all know that's not the case. Let's take a closer look at this post. It says Black Friday posts a new single-day record for gun checks at more than 200,000. So it goes on to say, in all, the FBI fielded 203,000 some odd requests for Black Friday, up from previous single-day highs of 185,700 last year and 185,300 in 2015. So the implication here would be that the firearms industry is thriving, that there's more interest in guns than ever, and the 4473 numbers are an indication that more guns are being sold than ever before. Again, we all know that's not the case, so let's take a closer look at why this is bogus. First off, there's 2 ways to look at this, or 2 things to keep in mind. The first is that 4473, the form that you have to fill out at a licensed dealer, is only an indication of a transfer. While the form itself does keep track of which firearms are transferred at the time, the FBI only is aware of a transfer going through, and they do not record any of the information about the number of or which firearms were transferred. So that means that the 4473s are really an indication of how many transfers take place, not an accurate indication of how many firearms are sold. And that's why there's always this caveat on these news articles that talk about the 4473. But I'll go ahead and suggest that since it's been like that since the beginning, since the 4473 numbers have always just been an inaccurate estimate of how many firearms get transferred, we'll just go ahead and acknowledge that it's just an indication of how many transfer requests have gone through. And we're assuming that it means the completed ones, not the ones that doesn't include the ones that were denied. So with that caveat, we'll take a look at the second point and the reason why this is bogus. This is all fake news. It doesn't take into effect the universal background checks. So many states have been duped and now have infringed upon themselves the added burden of universal background checks. In other words, if a friend wants to borrow a shotgun from her friend and she wants to take her daughter out shooting, maybe she wants to take her daughter out to show her some firearm safety and then have some recreational fun shooting clay targets out at the state park or at a range. She wants to borrow a friend's shotgun that's in the appropriate caliber for her daughter. Well, it doesn't matter that she's selling it or borrowing it from her friend. In states with universal background checks, in order to comply with the law, those two need to take that firearm to a licensed dealer, a federally licensed dealer,
and fill out this 4473 form that we're talking about in this article. They're going to have to fill that article out when she takes possession of the firearm and takes it out of the sight of her friend who owns the firearm. She goes off for the weekend and she shows her daughter how to use the firearm. They have some fun. She's bringing the firearm back, the shotgun back to her friend, and says thanks. Again, by law, they need to go back to a federally licensed dealer and fill out one of those 4473s. Now, let's not talk about the cost or the time burden or the persecution, the real reason for the universal background checks to make firearms ownership onerous and tedious and costly. But let's look past all that and let's look at the two 4473s that were incurred without any firearm being bought or sold. This is just a friend lending a friend a shotgun for the weekend so she can show her daughter some gun safety. So this is why these numbers are bogus. They indicate how many 4473s go through, but they don't incorporate the infringement of universal background checks in multiple states. And as we see more and more states succumb to this infringement, we're going to see higher and higher numbers on 4473 numbers, the number of 4473s that go through. The antis are going to continue to champion these numbers because to them, they can spin this to make it look like we're paranoid and buying more guns than ever because we're convinced that they're going to take our guns, or that they'll use that to their audience and say that that's an indication that their job is being accomplished, that they're winning because it's forcing us to buy more guns. So if we don't scrutinize these numbers that we're given, we'll never win. So this was an attempt to take a closer look at some of these numbers. Let us know what you think in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching.
So what do you think?
Those are some crazy infringements in some states, man. But yeah, no, I just don't understand why they're trying to plump up numbers.
Broke up. I don't know if Bob was doing something or is that me?
Oh, I said that I just don't understand why they're trying to plump up the numbers. Like their end game, I guess.
To me, I feel like they're trying to make it seem like the gun industry is good to go, especially when something isn't doing well. You want to give this false idea that the gun industry is so strong and they're back in the NRA and they're able to fund, or they're able to sway representatives because they have such influence and such money. So I think they win from that, a concept that people are going to think, oh, the gun industry is thriving right now. And then, again, that's the other concept that gun owners are paranoid and gun owners are flocking to their, guns.
Yeah, like one of those, look over here, guys. Well, this happens over here. Everything's fine over here. No need to bother with the gun industry. It's doing great.
That one guy did come in here and say that I'm wrong because a lot of people say that nobody follows those laws, and I don't care what they think, because because they wouldn't follow the laws doesn't mean they live in a state where you have to follow the laws. And I think we live in a country of law-abiding people. So I believe there's going to be a lot of people that follow the law, even if it is a massive infringement. But this guy's saying that it's Black Friday and that there's not enough people. If that is the case, there's not enough people doing it on a Black Friday to influence the numbers. So that's when I went back and just, do the math. You take that 203 and you subtract 185, you come up with 17,000. So my question is it possible that 17,000 people are obeying the law? When we looked it up last night, there's like 9 states that have some sort of universal background check on both, or at least handguns, or both handguns and rifles. You can tell me in a country with however many million gun owners, where we know 200,000 FFLs went through, that less than 10% of them, 17,000 of them, wouldn't be law-abiding citizens who just happen to go to the store and, yeah, they might be there buying something, but they're also transferring some firearms to their friends and incurred a 4473. So I'm not saying I know what's going on. I'm just saying let's question these numbers that I think it's BS. I think they have a reason to put the article out there.
And you also got to remember, just because it increased on that one day when everything's on sale, that might mean people that normally would have bought 2 or 3 guns this year are only going to buy one during the big sale because that's all they can afford. Maybe just because they're not feeling that they need to buy a lot of guns, but they're maybe, like I say, just going to buy it when they can get a really good deal on it rather than just buying a gun because they want to buy a gun.
So Angry saying that I would agree that the rest of the year, but for one day which has huge sales, I think a majority of them are new gun sales. Yeah, I'm not saying that the majority of them aren't new gun sales. The connotation of this post and with the article that it refers to, the concept is that the Black Friday sets a new single day record. Like, oh, it set a record, and it's 17,000 guns. It's like 17,000. It's, I guess technically it's a record, but last year they said it was a record too, and it was 500 or it was like 400 more guns. So, you know, I mean, if it was substantial, I guess, you know, we can decide if 17,000, if less than 10% is substantial. But unless I saw like a spread, you know, how do we know that a normal increase isn't 12%, you know, more each year? So I don't know. I think though that's the reason. Not so much. I'm not saying that that was all background checks for transfers. I'm saying that the 17,000 isn't enough that I'm going to be wowed that the firearm industry is doing well.
All right. So where do we go from there, though?
I guess we're going to the next one since everybody's asking questions, but Bob doesn't want to address them. So that'll take us to, what do you want to do? State of the state or one of these other things?
I got State of the State pulled up. I was actually reading some of the comments, but I got State of the State pulled up if you want.
Bob made it clear he doesn't want to test the comments that are coming up on both the gun channels and the YouTube side.
Wasn't saying that. I'm just saying, where do we want to take it from there, though? Like, what's our, you know, like 17K is not, you know, you got 17K isn't really up all that far. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's not. Doesn't seem like a lot of guns.
Yeah, I was just reading that here. All conjecture on Dev's part need to understand base change by looking at historical data and tetramining the trends. I agree that generally the gun industry is not doing well, and such the 4473s on the biggest buying day of the season is less than indicative. But I would tend to agree more with what Angry was saying. That was probably more of a whole yearly thing. I think Moon said something like that too. But yeah, that was it. That's what I was reading.
All right. So state of the state. We're going through the states that we went on the tour, and I guess we're up to Pennsylvania.
Old PA. So gun laws in Pennsylvania. State permit to purchase? Nope on handguns and long guns. Firearm registration? No on both. All handgun buyers in the state must undergo a PICS check at the point of sale.
What?
A PIC, PICS. I'm assuming it's the Pennsylvania does their own check.
That sounds gun unfriendly to me.
Yeah. A record of which is maintained by the state police on a sales database. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court has ruled that this is legal under 18 PACS, section 6111.4. As it is not a comprehensive record of all handgun ownership within the state, as gun owners moving into the state are not required to register their firearms. Assault weapon, no on handguns and long guns. Owner license required? No. Carry permits required? Yes, on both long guns and handguns. License to carry firearms issued on a shall issue basis. A LTCF is required to carry a firearm within a city of first class, Philadelphia, in a vehicle concealed on one's person or during a declared state of emergency. Open carry, yes. Unlicensed open carry everywhere except Philadelphia or on a vehicle, so no open carrying on vehicles. Castle law, stand your ground, yes, for both. No duty to retreat inside castle, no duty to retreat outside castle if confronted with deadly weapon or an object that appears to be one in a place where the person has a right to be. State preemption of local restrictions, yes on both. NFA weapons restricted, no. Peaceable journey laws, yes. Non-residents may carry in a vehicle if in possession of a valid carry permit from any state. Otherwise, federal rules observed. And finally, background checks required on private sales. No for long guns, yes for handguns. All private party transfers of handguns.
That's fucked. They're no wonder the people in Pennsylvania are so adamantly against my interpretation of that news article. They're part of it.
Yeah.
They're part of the problem.
So yeah, they're private parties. They got to transfer handguns and must be possessed through a licensed dealer or a county sheriff's office. In either case, background check required. And that's pretty much Pennsylvania.
Also, there's chocolate. Chocolate is from there. They made chocolate, I think.
Yeah, Hershey.
It was invented there.
So that would be our state of the state here today.
Yeah, doesn't sound like great.
In a lot of ways, Pennsylvania looks like a 30-round magazine. So I feel like maybe there should be a line driven through it, or some like a river or something to break up the shape.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I see it now.
What if you were a child and you were looking at a map? Or worse yet, when they have a lot of times they'll have like a map turned into a puzzle, and then that state of Pennsylvania just be there looking like a removable box magazine clip.
Deadly.
All right, so they're giving Pennsylvania an 8 out of 10. Is that how it works? We should start doing that. You guys can rate Pennsylvania. You guys can judge it after knowing about it. 1 out of 10 for gun laws.
7.
I live in Arizona. I'm going to give it about a 6.
Universal background for handgun sales. Can you like or your mic? And all kinds of feedback, and it sounds like you're doing something weird to your mic.
Nothing. I'm sitting away from it.
Huh. All right. Well, so looks like it's getting an 8 out of 10 from the audience. All right, we got quite a few members on gun channels over from Pennsylvania also, huh? Angry, Moon, the other Travis. There are others?
I don't know. I just know Moon and Angry and the other Travis.
I thought we had somebody from Pittsburgh. All right, well, so that was State of the State. Every week we try to hit another state. Next week, it'll be New York. New York. That's how they say it there. Yeah. What do we want to do next?
Let's see here.
Gun of the day.
All right, we'll do the gun shop then. So today we're doing another Bannerman video. This time we're talking about the surplus part of it.
Probably the most efficient at the time.
You hear it?
And is constantly expanding military surplus. You have warehouses down in Brooklyn. Some of the folks down there are getting kind of a little antsy because he's got all this ammunition and all this other stuff. If something goes awry, could lose some city blocks. So he was kind of encouraged to find another place to store some of this stuff.
Right.
So he was able to find out about this island.
After Bannerman passed in 19 and his 18,
Yeah.
Did the Bannerman company still acquire as much as he did, or was it then just selling all the stuff that he had
I think
spent
they
time?
were still pretty active until I think it was probably the 30s or 40s that they started, not being as active in the acquisition of military surplus.
Was it his kids that took
He
over,
had
or a business
three
partner?
sons, two stayed in the business, one became a doctor, and unfortunately he wasn't around when Francis Bannerman had his ailment that took his life. And nowadays we kind of think it was probably he had a gallbladder issue because he died in his young 60s.
So it wasn't it was something that could have been prevented potentially.
Nowadays it wouldn't have been a big deal, but back then it was more so of a big deal. And unfortunately he succumbed to it, and kind of being a feisty Scottish like himself, he probably would have survived, for quite a few more years if that hadn't taken him. So
the company did continue to run as a company with its run, its sons running.
that started in the but in 1953, the family came over to States, based in Brooklyn at the time. The American Civil War broke out. His father went into the Union Army. So Francis VI was the oldest son, so now it's on his shoulders to, support the family. So being
This is when he's like 10 years old.
that they lived by the Brooklyn Navy Yard, he had a rowboat and a grappling hook, and he'd go out there, pull up a rope, and anything else, he could get out of the river, go up, and start reselling. After the war was over, he basically created the, secret bid auctions and type of things, so he was able to purchase a lot of the equipment, and then he would turn around and resell it to other countries or whoever could use supplies like that. At the turn of the century, from 1800s and 1900s, he was king of the military surplus.
So Kurt, I appreciate all your time. This has been awesome. I've been looking forward to this one.
On right there. All right, so that was the Billy B where he talked about plus business. I chopped pieces together to put all those together. But I found since then some really good YouTube videos. So I have a playlist now over on the Gun Websites channel. If you look at our playlist, there's one in there like talking about the castle or castle videos or something. And it's other people's videos. One of them is like an hour something long presentation by one of the guys that started the whole preservation trust. One of the group of people that got together and started to preserve the island and the castle. And he does like an hour-long, hour-plus presentation on everything, the Bannerman, the island, and then the castle.
Yeah, we got a bit of chatter out there that was kind of a robot near the end of that one.
What robot it is?
Yeah, the video when you played it was getting robot-y.
That's probably my connection. So the link to the video, though, is in the description. It's only a couple of minutes long if you want to watch the end of it.
Good.
Hello. Perfect timing, G. It was almost like we planned that out. But anyway, you guys know what that sound means. Time to crack your knuckles, flip out them keyboards, and get ready for the daily tactical pop quiz. Today, hold on, I might not want to screenshot the answer. Um, today will be another visual test. So let me get over here and screen share. All right, let me see this. That backspace before you get the answer and guess that gun. And I want the actual name for it too.
Oh, wow.
I even got a revolving picture.
It's not a GL40 Angry.
Have you shot these before?
Never.
No. Not a BFG 9000.
I think Angry got it.
32A1. Yep. That would be Angry. Jeez. Look at that, man. Angry's rocking. Angry American.
I was even going to talk about him not putting in the first part of it, but he ended up doing it. So that was the Milcor M32. This one is actually the A1 MGL. So congrats, Angry.
Yeah, so Angry once again. That makes you the daily pop quiz hot shot of the day.
Yeah, I've got to shoot those a couple of times. They're pretty cool. You kind of wind the cylinder up, and then as it shoots, it revolves.
Wait, you have to actually wind it up?
Yeah, you kind of wind it up like a watch or something, and then it shoots. It just like unwinds, and as it shoots, so you shoot all 6 or whatever, and then drop them out. I'm sure you've seen it in TV and stuff, movies. Yeah. They don't kick very much. We were shooting the I forget what they were, like anti-personnel type. You shoot them at people, so we were kind of shooting them at targets. Fun.
Oh yeah, that seems like it'd be real cool.
So they're made here in Tucson by Volter, and the company that owns Volter. They make them in the back there. On a couple of tours up here. I was looking for pictures. I didn't see it. Notice you were doing it until right when the show started. But somewhere I got pictures of the rooms where they make those. So the Marines will send them back to Tucson in big boxes of them, and then they take each one out, rebuild it, put whatever needed parts get swapped out on it, and then they get all new parts put on it, and then they go back out. It's kind of cool. And they'll take them out to north of Tucson and shoot them all, make sure they work before they send them back.
Oh, wow, that's really cool.
They got like a cargo container of chalk rounds for them.
That would be very cool.
It's some guy's job. Paid good money. Drive from Tucson up to North Tucson with like probably a really big truck full of them and chalk rounds, and then sits there all day blasting chalk rounds to make sure the guns work or the rocket launchers work, grenade launchers work.
So that replaced the single shot blooper, eh?
Yeah, it can't have more stuff to deal with. That's the gun anyway, the 79s. And then now you got 6 shots right away. That'd be way more useful, I would think.
Oh, for sure.
It's big and clunky.
Yeah,
you guys are am I breaking up connection today?
Yeah, you're breaking up a fair bit.
Okay, because you guys are both breaking up. It's because of net neutrality.
Probably.
All right, well,
yeah, I still take a high power over it, but
That was your gun of the day? No, that was the pop quiz. So now we have it.
Oh, snap. Are we doing gun of the day right now?
It's all pretty much all there is, that in the movie.
All right, hang on. Let me pull this back up. Bob, would you enlighten us? What is the gun today?
It's an Israeli Balashnikov rifle. So it's basically the Israelis captured a whole bunch of AK-74s at the end of one of their numerous wars, and they converted them to shoot 223, and then issued them. So it was basically, I guess it was before they made the Galil. This is what they did because they had all these captured rifles because basically they kind of disarmed the Russians or not the Russians, the Arab neighbors several times and went, wow, these are perfectly good guns. We might as well use them. So that's what they did. But yeah, that was what they did to, with these AK-74s in order to make them shoot their standard rounds, 223 rounds. So pretty interesting, actually. It's, if you got to shoot a gopher round, you might as well shoot one that's your issue round rather than have to worry about getting supplies of non-standard ammo. And yeah,
every picture that I see is just the Galil. So does it pretty much look like a Galil then?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, I guess they added a bipod too.
I'd shoot it.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I think that'd be an interesting gun for somebody who's in collecting AKs. Just to have something that's a little different,
I don't think I've ever heard of it.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I don't know how many ever got exported out of Israel, right? Or if we know, they're still probably sitting in warehouses just in case. It makes perfect sense because those guns are going to run forever. They're basically AKs.
These AR mag.
Yeah, it looks weird.
I'm not sure whether they do or not. I don't know if it ever mentioned that in the article I read.
Not with that release in the back like that. That's an AK style release, so it's going to have a lug, I would imagine, and rock in. It's going to be a unique mag then.
Probably, yeah. But I mean,
100,000 of those guns. If you only had 100,000 mags, you might as well have 0 guns.
Yeah.
Well, that may be the problem, but maybe that magazine works with Galils. I don't know.
So you said they converted because they couldn't hit the 545 or whatever.
I think they just converted it so it would use the 223 round just because that was their issue round, right?
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Yeah, and because it's AK-74, so it was already made to shoot a dinky little bullet. So
yeah. I don't know. Something about that 545 just looks way nastier than a 556. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's my opinion, I guess.
Yeah, but if you can't get them
that round, though.
Yeah, if you can't get that round, it's not any good to you.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty cool gun.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. Like, there's a country that doesn't waste resources, right? They find, oh, gee, we got a bunch of these enemy guns we captured. Hey, these are pretty good. Why don't we just change them over to our caliber? Makes perfect sense, really.
Oh, you're saying those were AKs that were converted to 5.56?
Yes. Yeah, they were captured AK-74s from, I don't remember which war. One of the later ones, I guess.
That doesn't make any sense. Show that picture again. That was a milled AK. AK milled in 5.45.
I'm just going by what the article said.
I'm just making shit up.
Yeah. Maybe it wasn't the right picture. Yeah.
Fake gun of the day.
Fake news! Fake news!
That big ass mill looks like a Galil.
That right? Yeah, it looks Galil.
Come on, you gotta make things up. Come up with a real gun.
Ah, please.
Disgrace.
It's one of those guns that even the AK specialists don't know about, so must be fake news.
All right, so so we do have one piece of history today. It has nothing to do with guns, but that was kind of interesting. So it says in 1520, Spanish explorer Magellan, having discovered a strait in South America, enters the Pacific. So basically figured out that you could navigate around South America. But how neat is it that that guy would have been driving around in a boat, freaking boat, right? With some metal on it, mostly wood and rope, right? Maybe some tar and shit like that. Writing on a piece of parchment with some kind of weird ink. What do they make ink out of back then? Like squids or something? And then a feather, maybe? Or some kind of piece of metal with a feather piece on it or something. And he wrote that on some kind of parchment. And then that survived. And here we are in like 2017. And it's just on the internet as part of history or whatever. But I just kind of think it was kind of neat to read that 1520, this guy probably not on the easiest of days, because that's a pretty wicked part of the world, right? Trying to navigate through there. Was the first guy to come around and see the Pacific. And he wrote that down on a piece of paper, and it survived all that time. And now we're talking about it on the internet. Kind of neat.
Yeah, it's true. You look at how they used to cross oceans in those days. It was pretty brutal.
Same calendar, though. So we know that it was today in 1520, November 28, 1520. All right, so that was our piece of history today. And now we got the movie of the day, Platoon. You ever seen this one?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So we try to feature a gun movie every day, something you haven't seen in a while or something you ain't seen yet. I think everybody probably has seen Platoon, I would think. Pretty much, what would you call that? Like movie everybody's seen or everybody must see kind of thing? Would you put that in that list?
Must see. Yeah.
I would think if you want to have a conversation about military with anybody, or if you want to have a conversation about guns, that would be one of the, you would assume people have seen Platoon.
Platoon would come up in that situation, definitely.
I mean, I guess if you're one of the cars or dogs or something or food, you just didn't care about military or guns. But I think if you're in the military or guns, then that would be a given.
Yeah, one of the few movies that I didn't mind Willem Dafoe's overacting.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, because it does seem like pretty much everybody over there was losing their shit.
Yeah, it was like called for, yeah. But I liked it. I'll give it 2 thumbs up. Definitely put it on the list of must-sees.
Yeah, I'm giving it 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to make it 3. So yeah, definitely 2 thumbs up for me.
3 thumbs up? What?
Yeah,
thumbs
getting
up.
that extra thumbs up.
That makes us 3 votes for 2 thumbs up.
Okay.
Smeggy says it's actually a movie he's seen. That's strange.
Well, it is a movie a lot of people have watched. It's possible that Smeggy was in the room one time and it was on.
That's true. He doesn't really care about guns.
Oh, it was rapist. It turns out there's rape. I don't know if we're allowed to appreciate the movie anymore. Definitely one of the top known war movies, I'd say.
Oh yeah, and holds up to nowadays.
That's true. It's a classic.
Yep.
All right. Well, with that, we've wrapped up episode 452. A little bit early. Not as bad as yesterday. But tomorrow we'll be on episode 453. It's a Wednesday, so we talk about entertainment. Gun shows in movies. So think about what movies you've seen with gun shows in it. There's not very many, are there? Then we got good idea, bad idea, staging firearms around the house. And then we'll do our hashtag Daily Gun Show Showdown, where we look at the people that have used hashtag Daily Gun Show over on the Instagrams. Last week we had 1,295, so hopefully we'll have more than that this week. We'll look at those pictures, we'll judge them, and then we'll decide which is the best picture on the internet this week. And then we do all our normal stuff, gun shop of the day, gun movie, all that kind of stuff. But today's Tuesday, so a bunch of shows happen after this one. I'm assuming there's a lobby getting ready to be created over on the gun channels, which is like an open room anybody can jump into. or if you're working or something, you can just jump over there and listen. And whoever's around and available to chat jumps in and has conversations about guns or whatever. That'll run up until the primetime shows start. Let's see, today's Tuesday, so is Tactical Tuesday the first thing that'll happen?
We have Outlaw at 6 p.m. Eastern. Then we have Tactical Tuesday at 8, Hit or Miss at 9 Eastern, and Big Gunner 81. I think he's at 9:30, but it says 10, but I think he comes on about 9:30 Eastern.
Yeah, I've looked over on his channel and I haven't seen a live thing in a while, but he was in the live chats last couple of days, so hopefully he's got his live stuff figured out. And then what, the early watch tomorrow?
Yeah, early watch tomorrow, 9:30 Eastern. Or wait, no, 9 a.m. Wait, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9 a.m. Eastern. Time warp.
Up till when we start at noon.
Yeah, there's no Tactical Tuesday today.
Uh-oh.
There's no Tactical Tuesday today. Why?
It's Ghost's wife's birthday, so he wants to keep his wife happy and keep a happy home.
I guess that's probably good.
Yeah.
So it's a good opportunity for maybe to come in and steal his time slot. That's always encouraged.
But hey, Ghost, tell your wife happy birthday from all the guys on Gun Channels.
So again, I want to thank everyone who participated in the deals over on the gear websites yesterday. We pulled a bunch of the cards, and we got some deals for the people over on Gun Channels. We could have got an email if you want to get some Gun Channels patches and stuff. If you'd like to, use the place, and we can always upgrade. So that's what the patch sales are all about. And remember the Patreon coming up on the end of the month. So take a look at the channels that you like, see if it's got any different or new work, and do whatever adjustments you need to do. There's about to be lockdown for the end of the month. Was that breaking up? Because I heard Bob robot echo the whole time.
I heard what you said.
Okay, cool. I'm done.
All right. Well, if nobody's got anything else, we'll wrap it up with our quote. Today's quote's going to be by Abraham Lincoln. But before that, I'd like to remind everybody, please like, share, subscribe, thumbs up, all that good stuff. If you can, support us on the Patreon. Like it says, it's the end of the month coming up. Yeah, I guess that's about it, guys. So let's finish up. This is by Abraham Lincoln. Remember that? He's the Republican who freed the slaves. Don't interfere with anything in the Constitution. That must be maintained, for it is the only safeguard of our liberties. Very wise words from a very wise man. Thanks, everybody, for watching and listening. We'll see you all tomorrow.
Guys and gals of GunWebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching GunWebsites.com.